Yeah, good morning everyone. Today I would like to explain about the environmental hazards and the disasters. If you see that, first of all, I would like to tell about myself. I am Sankur Naresh, Associate Professor in Anurag Engineering College, Department of Civil Engineering. So I want to differentiate the hazard and disaster, and actually based on that effect we are going to be facing, then only we are going to be classify whether it is comes under hazard or comes under a disaster. Previously in my video I told the definition of the hazard and disaster also, and then I want to recognize that one more time, that hazard is nothing but something has happened suddenly and unusually. It may creating a large damage to the public and environmental and their properties. We can call it as a disaster. And if it is in a small damage, then we can call as a hazard. So now if for example rain, heavy rains are is there, then we can call this a hazards. But and there is a lot of floods are going. The floods is going on recently in Kerala. So because of the floods, they are going to be affected very heavily. A severe effect we are going to be observed in the Kerala. So that kind of things we can call as a disasters. So if you see that there is any hazards and disasters, there is an environmental hazards. What is an environmental hazard? What is an environmental disasters here? So because of the environmental events, that it may damaging very less to the public or whatever environmental itself, or maybe their properties, we can call it is an environmental hazard. And because of the environmental activities we got an maybe disasters also. And further I will give the even examples regarding what is an environmental hazards and environmental disaster. And the disasters are occurred when these are resulting into a wide space damage or loss of life. And then that hazards can be natural or man-induced or planetary and extraplanetary in origin. So that if you see that there is a natural hazards and disasters, so some of the examples are there. Naturally occurred ones, actually I had already told that naturally occurred one. If you see that earthquakes, so coming to the earthquakes, first of all I want to tell that how the earthquakes is going to be occurred. So in the bottom of the earth crust, there is a movement of the tectonic plates. So that's why what happened, every day we got a changes day and night, and at same time the sun is revolving around it, and later is revolving around the sun, likewise because of the tectonic plates movement only. And now what happened, these tectonic plates are, any collision is going to be takes place. So if any collision is going to be takes place, then you got a lot of vibration. Now the center we can call as an epicenter is going to be generated, and later is going to be propagated through like waves, like S waves, P waves, L waves. So likewise any these tectonic plates, so for example this in a movement is there. So if the tectonic plates are is moving like this at the bottom of the earth crust, but if it is going to be collide to each other like this, then you got an earthquakes. So because of the earthquakes, this earthquakes is going to be caused in a sea area. At the time you may receiving there is a tsunamis. So that similarly what I am told here, that earthquakes are is occurred in the below the water body, then you got a tsunamis. And then if you see that there is a volcanoes eruption. If it is in a volcanoes eruption, is nothing but, so at the starting of the formation of earth, there is an actually, everyone knows that Big Bang theory. So in the Big Bang theory, that nothing but that is something is going to be explode from the sun, and there is a formation of there is an oval shape volcanoes, and it is clubbed together, and finally creation of huge mass, and that is called formation of earth. That's a Big Bang theory is going to be tell about us. And then what happened, there is some heat is going to be there in particular arts parts. So that what happened, this heat is going to be burning that that what are the material surrounding of it, and then automatically it's going to be flow like as a fluid. Generally we can call it as a magma. So how can we define the magma here? The hard viscous liquid material which is flows to the earth crust, and then we can call it is in a magma. And similarly the hard viscous liquid material which is flows above the earth crust, that means above the ground surface, we can call it is in a lava. So that everything the lava or magma is going to be flow through the earth crust, and whenever it is touches that any explode material, so that you got a volcanoes eruption. And then or otherwise due to the internal reactions, then there is an explode chemicals are is going to be released, and then we can call it an cause of volcanoes eruption. And sometimes what happened, what are the what I told just now, that hard viscous liquid material which is flows through the earth crust and it is touches any coolest body, and then suddenly it may takes a reaction, and finally what happened, you got a volcanoes eruption. So because of this volcanoes eruption also, it may leads to creating sometimes wildfire also is going to be takes place. There is a hurricanes. Coming to that next one is a hurricanes. So these hurricanes is nothing but that especially you can see this kind of hurricanes in foreign countries like America, Australia. So you can observe this kind of hurricanes actually. So because of there is in a low lying areas, you are getting this kind of hurricanes. Then if you observe that next one is in a floods. So how the floods is going to be takes place generally, how can we define the flood? First of all, so flood is nothing but that excessive water flows on the earth surface, we can call as a floods. So that here how can we know that whether it is creating a flood or not? Actually, if the whenever that heavy rainfall is going to be comes under, so that actually the water is going to be entered into that ground surface. But whenever the input is more than the what is absorbed, and then excessive water is going to be flow over the top surface. So that at the time what is happen, the excessive flow of water on the earth surface, we can call it as a floods. So here there is a heavy rains are is going to be takes place because of the cyclones activities, then we can gotten this kind of floods. And already I told that tsunamis also is like we can call it is an a because of the earthquake is occurred below the earth surface. Here for example I want to explain how the tsunami is going to be takes place. Now we can assume now we are in the sea. Now unfortunately what happened, that bottom of the sea there is in a ground level is there, because of the tectonic impacts there is an earthquake is going to be takes place. So that once is impact is going to be takes place, and then it's going to be move away from one to another. Actually I said that it is in a movement, but what I'm saying, this impact is going to be takes place if it is they change their movement. So if it is changing their away from the movement, and now what is happening, there is a formation of cave is going to be takes place, and then cave is going to be takes place on what is there in the top, water is there. So their water is going to be entered into particular cave. So that after some time there is an again original, they came to original movement. Now they came to original movement like this, then it may creating the more pressure on the water, so that a lot of water creating a pressure forcefully come to the level. So that it likewise what is happening, there is any causes of the tsunamis because of the earthquakes itself. And if you observe that there is here I want there is a man induced hazards and disasters. A man induced disaster. Before going to explain man-induced hazard, there is a few examples I want to tell about. Nowadays, what happened? There is a war between Ukraine and Russia, and a war between Israel and Hamas, or now war between Israel and there is Iran. So likewise, there is a war is going on between them. So if the because of that, here what happened? The nature is going to be disturbed, and finally you may receiving there is a hazards and disaster. That as a proof for that, recently I heard the news in a east coastal of the Russia. So in a month of August 2024 itself, there is a 20 times of there is a cause of earthquake in that particular location. I think last few days back itself, within one day there is a two times will come. The first magnitude is in a 7 and the second magnitude is reaches to the 9. That means it may creating a disaster at that areas. So likewise, because of what is the reason to get this all those things, because of the man-made activities, because of war is going on, the blasting is going to be takes place. Likewise, missiles are is going to be launched. Because of that, there is an hazards are is going to be generated. Now I want to justify what is a man-induced hazards and man-induced disasters. For example, if some country is going to be explode, there is a nuclear weapons, then it may creating a disaster. And some countries are releasing like a bullets or missiles, small types of missiles, then it may creating hazards. Likewise, based on the damage only, we just justify that whether it is an hazard or disaster. Now because of human, what is a man induced hazards? Because of the human made activities, that hazards or disaster is going to be takes place, we can call man induced hazards and disasters. If you see that certain industrial accident, there is an example for man induced hazards and disaster. So there is an industrial accidents. If you see that industrial accidents, here what is happen in the case of there is an industry. Industry is almost pharmaceutical industry. You want to take it into consideration to explain this one. Pharmaceutical industries, what is happen? There is an they are going to be release the waste into the from that particular industry, either into the river or either into the lands. So that what is happen? It may creating the land contamination, water contamination, so that we can getting the hazard. Or otherwise, if you see that industrial accidents, like you take that Bhopal tragedy, so there is an cyanide gas is going to be released, and now what happened, that total area is going to be now there is no growth also, that because of that cyanide is going to be affecting so many lives. So it comes under a industrial accident itself, so but it is causing more damage, so that I am considered this one as a disaster. And now that I think day before yesterday we seen that Andhra Pradesh also, one of the industry in Amalapuram, they are releasing the same gases or fire accident in that particular location because of the gas explosions. And they're also having maybe 100 to 150 members are get affected with a particular situation. Then we can call it as an industrial accidents. And next to nuclear disasters, there may be World War One, World War Two. These are all called the man-made disasters. World War One also, World War Two also comes under a disasters. So and the next one is in a deforestation, and because of the urbanization, the man need every man need an individual house to construct and living them very comfortable. For that reason, what happened, the man may do that, there is an cut the trees, that we can call as a deforestation, to want to expand that urbanization. So that this is also comes under a disaster. Now the population of India is 140 crores plus, so that if it is increasing, likewise there is no forest, that because urbanization is going to be takes place, and then future it may creating a disaster. Now it is look like as an hazard. And then coming to that next one is a pollution is also there, man-made pollution, because it's a very simple thing here. For example, every day we are come with a bike or car or maybe any whatever the vehicle, but what is in a vehicle is going to be run with the petrol or diesel, it may releasing the CO2 content and the CO2 content. When the CO2 content is going to be released, and when the CO content is going to be released, when the complete burning is going to be takes place, CO2 is going to be released, and incomplete burning is going to be takes place, and CO is going to be released from that. So that there is an air pollution and water pollution, because of these are all man-made activities only. And then even if you see that we are going to be release the carbon dioxide, and then we are taking the oxygen, that is also comes under a one type of example, but it is in a hazard only. If you see that the Delhi as a mitigation for this controlling the air pollution, so they are allowing the only even number of even number plate vehicles in one day, and odd number vehicles in another day. Likewise, they are going to be on the road, they have some conducting the mitigation activities, because the air pollution is very high in the case of the Delhi. So that pollution means that pollutants are is mixed with that air or water and the land. We can called as a man-made activity. Because of man-made activities you got this kind of pollution, all those things. And we'll give one more example on the pollutions, that is the waste we are generated. So that we can call as an there is a waste is going to be merged with that any land or water or whatever it may be, we can call it as a pollution. And now these are all called the man induced hazards and disasters. And if you see that there is a planetary hazards and planetary disasters. What is the planetary hazards? So planetary hazards is nothing but that which is takes in within the earth crust only. That means not in our planet. So for example, our planet is earth, so any hazard or disaster it takes place, we can call it as in a planetary hazard. So and this is examples of the global warming, asteroid impacts and climate change. Okay, these are all the examples for the planetary hazards. What is a planetary hazard? Our planet, any hazards or disasters takes place in our planet, we can call it as a planetary hazards. And then coming to that next one is an extra planetary hazards. Extra planetary hazard means the hazards and everything is going to be takes place in a space. For example, that satellites are is going to be impact each other and satellites are not working, and because of satellite waste is generated. So that's because of the sun is going to be release the more solar energy. So these are going to be happen other planets. Then we can call it as an extra planets. If you see that there is a few examples like there is an asteroids, okay, and likewise the cosmic radiation and solar flares. Likewise you have some example for extra planetary hazards and disasters. And coming to that next one is an endogenous hazards. Endogenous hazards is nothing but it takes place within the earth crust. So that within the earth crust, what are the things is going to be takes place, we can call it an endogenous hazard. And exogenous hazards is nothing but if this takes place above the earth surface, we can call it as an exogenous hazards. Likewise there's an example weather related and impacts related, space related. Likewise you have. Anyhow, thank you so much for giving this and